Well, my fellow brothers and sisters, peace be with you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Ben, and I welcome you to the Restored Ephraim Publications channel. Today we're going to continue our study of the Book of Enoch. If you're new here, or if you need a reminder, if you would like a free copy of this version of the Book of Enoch that we are reading today, it is available in the description of this video. There are two links. The second one is the better link. It's the Google Drive link. The other one was my first one, but then they changed it so that you can only download one a day. And so you can use either of the links, but the second one will be better, and you can get a copy of this very work. Now today we're going to cover chapters 9 through 11 in the Book of Enoch. And previously we talked about all the wickedness that was going on in the earth, and now this is the response given by the angels who are observing all of this. And so let's go ahead and get started in chapter 9 verse 1. Then Michael and Uriel and Raphael and Gabriel looked down from the sanctuary of heaven upon the earth, and saw much blood spilled on the earth, and the whole earth was filled with wickedness and violence, and all of the sin that was brought upon her. So first off, the Book of Enoch talks a lot about angels. And it's probably safe to assume that a lot of the angel talk is probably they're trying to make it seem bigger and more like I guess they tried to make the Book of Enoch like some type of godly novel. And so we can probably assume that all these things with angels are probably exaggerated. Some are probably inserted in later, and others might be remnants of some talk. But regardless, what is expected of us is that we're to look at the text and try to see what it's trying to say, and then we can determine if what it is saying is truth or if it's pure falsehood. Now, it lists 4 angels here. These names will be very common in the Book of Enoch. It's Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel. We know that we know that Michael is Adam, and we also know that Gabriel is Noah. We know that the name Raphael occurs in the Doctrine and Covenants, and so that's a real name. Now, what is not listed is Uriel, unless you are using the Catholic Apocrypha, which in their Bible, Uriel is mentioned because Uriel is mentioned in the Apocrypha. I don't remember which book off the top of my head, but the name Michael means one who is like God. Uriel means light of God. Raphael means healer of God, and Gabriel means warrior or strong one of God. Some might also say a hero of God. Now, if we are, Michael is probably, like I said, these names probably weren't originally in there. If there's any angel here in this list, that would probably be the most likely one is first Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel. Michael might not have been dead yet. Michael is Adam in his angelic form. Gabriel, who became Noah, is probably not born yet, but he might be. We're not sure. So it depends on whether he was born or not. And that only leaves Uriel and Raphael, who we have no idea who they are. Now, in my opinion, Uriel is referring to Peter. Uriel means light of God. Uri and is it means light, and it's the word that we get the Urim from, which is a stone, and in Greek the Lord calls Peter the stone. The name Peter means rock in Greek, which is what he was calling him. But the other reason why I think that it is Uriel is that in these apocryphal texts, a Uriel is usually the angel that is doing stuff in the ancient part of the world. And we know from the temple that Peter had a role as an angel to Adam and Eve, and no doubt he would play a leadership role in that era when Adam was on the earth. Raphael might be Moses, in my opinion. Moses had the power of healing Israel from their slavery. But again, it doesn't really matter. We haven't had revelation from the Lord on who these people are. But regardless of what the angels are, they look down from the sanctuary of heaven on the earth, and it says, saw much blood spilled on the earth, and the whole earth was filled with wickedness and violence, and all the sin that was brought upon her. In the Joseph Smith translation of Genesis, also called the Book of Moses, chapter 8, verse 28, it says, "The earth was corrupt before God, and it was filled with violence. God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence, and behold, I will destroy all flesh from off the earth." So we see a kind of similar idea between the two. And in the Book of Enoch, as we mentioned last time, that the bloodshed began with the eating of animals, and from there it turned into wars and tyranny and even cannibalism. And so the earth was filled with bloodshed and absolute violence. It says, and the four archangels, hearing the voice and cry, went in and said to themselves, The sons of earth are perishing, their voice and cry are reaching up to the gate of heaven. And they said to the holy ones of heaven, "Now to you, O ye holy ones of heaven, the souls of men are making their suit and saying, 'Bring judgment to us from the Most High.' Then they said to the Lord of the ages, 'Thou art the Lord of lords.'" Oh, let me stop right there. So the angels see all this stuff going on, and they haven't received any instructions from the Lord, and so they basically go to the Lord, and it says, "And they said to the holy ones of heaven, 'Now to you, O ye holy ones of heaven, the souls of men are making their suit and saying, Bring judgment to us from the Most High.'" So this is interesting in that it shows a council of sorts. And that is a belief of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that there's this council in heaven, and that God our Father is the chief of it. And they asked the holy ones of heaven to they report to them that that people are crying for judgment to be done because of all the wickedness in the earth. And then they address the Lord himself. It says, "Then they said to the Lord of the ages, 'Thou art the Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings. The throne of thy glory is forever and ever, and forever and ever is thy name sanctified and glorified. Thou art blessed and glorified. Thou hast made all things, thou possessest power over all things, and all things are open and manifest before thee. Thou beholdest all things, and nothing can be concealed from thee. Thou hast seen what Azazel has done, how he has taught all types of iniquity upon the earth, and all types of deceit upon the dry land, and he made known eternal mysteries which were kept in heaven, so that the experts among the sons of man should practice them." So let's pause right there. So notice the pattern that that we've already read, and we're going to continue to read. It's that the angels are looking over mankind, and then they go and report to our Heavenly Father and the council what is being done, and then God speaks to the angels, and then the angels go and do. This is the same type of pattern, or at least a similar one, that we see in the temple in the endowment, where we see that there's angels. The Father tells the Son, and then the Son tells the angels, and the angels go and do. And then the angels go and report back to the Son, and then the Son reports to the Father. And so we see the same, a similar type of giving assignment and reporting back, or reporting and then receiving assignment. That type of stuff that is in here. Again, we see the name Azazel. Again, Azazel is probably, we could probably just see Azazel as Satan himself. And they note that Azazel, or Satan, is teaching all types of iniquity on the earth, and revealing hidden mysteries that are done in heaven, so that that experts among the the sons of man should practice them. And we know that that's certainly true. It was Satan who began to teach the sons of Adam and Eve to reject God and to love wickedness. One thing we'll see in here is that they use a lot of exaggeration of language too. I don't believe the exaggeration of language is original. It has this lofty way of speaking, showing how important that the Lord is. I just don't think that it's original. It seems more like it's added later for novel effect. And it says, "And thou beholdest what Samyaza has done, to whom you have given authority to be king over all his companions, and they have gone to the daughters of men of the earth, and lain with them, and have defiled themselves with women, and have revealed to them all kinds of sins." So let's pause right there. Again, Samyaza is the watcher who decided to get married to the women. We talked about how Samyaza was not a heavenly angel, but he was a priesthood holder in the order of Zion. And I don't mean the Zion of Enoch. It's the righteous, the desire of the righteous to always create Zion. But it was during the days of Jared, when they lived on or around the holy mountain. They saw. It says they saw the daughters of men, but the Holy Spirit taught me that it should actually be read as daughters of Cain. And so these priesthood holders were seeing the ways of Cain, and he saw the beauty of the daughters of Cain, or the worldly beauty of the daughters of Cain, and they decided that they wanted to take them as wives, which thing was forbidden. And they taught them all sorts of wickedness. And it says that the women likewise have given birth to giants. Thus has the whole earth been filled with blood and with iniquity. So again, the giants were a result of these priesthood holders taking the daughters of Cain, and for whatever reason, it resulted in gigantism. How big they were, we have no real clue. The sizes that are given are probably exaggerated, greatly exaggerated. But we do know that there were giants. The strength of the giants was in their size. And we have to ask ourselves, why is the Book of Enoch telling us this stuff? And I've come to realize that it's showing us these things because we can see mirrors of them in the last days. Now, it uses the term giants. In the past, size was strength. But in our day, the giants of our day are the money controllers. And so they are their power is in their money. And so that's how they control everything. Just like the giants use their physical prowess and size to dominate over ancient man. Then it says, "And now behold, the souls of those who are dead cry out and complain, even to the gate of heaven. Their groaning has ascended into heaven, and cannot cease because of the unrighteousness which is committed on the earth. Thou knowest all things before they come to pass. Thou knowest these things, and what has been done by them. Yet thou hast not spoken to us concerning what is proper for us, that we may do regarding it." So, lots of people are dying, and their cries have reached the gate of heaven. And they tell the Lord that the Lord knows all this, but you haven't told us what to do about it yet. That ends chapter 9. Let's move on to chapter 10, which is the response that God gives to the angels in what they should do concerning what is going on. Verse 1 says, "Then the Most High, the Great and Holy One, spoke and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, saying, Say to him in my name, conceal thyself. Then explain to him the end which is about to take place, for all the earth shall perish. The waters of a deluge shall come over the whole earth, and all things which are in it shall be destroyed. And now instruct the righteous man what he is to do, even the son of Lamech, how to preserve his soul into life and to escape forever. From him will be planted a plant, and it will be established for all the generations of the world." So here's the proof that that Noah is already born, and that would mean that the angel Gabriel would not be in that position. So it's clearly showing that that name is also one that has been added, which I think all of them has been added. I don't really think that there's actually all these names. We know that they're real, but I just don't think that it's the way it's been presenting itself is exactly what happened. But they're telling the son of Lamech. The son of Lamech is Noah. I don't know why they use that term instead of saying the name. But they tell him to conceal himself. That phrase makes sense because we know that the wicked were trying to kill Noah, and then tell him, and then God tells him to tell him what's going to happen, that there's going to be a flood, and to give him instruction on what he needs to do to escape. And then he's given a prophecy that from him will be planted a plant, and it will be established for all the generations of the world. And so this refers to a bloodline. The planted a plant refers to a bloodline. It's very likely referring to Abraham and how Israel, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, their descendants will be established throughout the entire future of the world, and that Jesus Christ will be born in that lineage. So we know that the way they are saying it might be wrong, but what they're actually saying is stuff that did happen. We know that Noah was warned and taught how to escape the judgment, and that was to make the ark. And we know that Noah was given prophecy concerning his future. So let's move on to verse 4. It It says, and the Lord said to Raphael, do go, Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness. Make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudael, and cast him in there. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. Cover his face, that he may not see the light. And in the great day of judgment, let him be cast into the fire. Let's pause there. I found this actually kind of interesting. It says, this is the Lord's instructions to Raphael. Azazel, who is most likely Satan, is to be bound hand and foot and cast into darkness. We're seeing a lot of things that seem to be like out of order. We shouldn't necessarily see it as being things done out of order, which would make it sound like there's a mistake. But we have to remember that all things are like the present with the Lord. And so these instructions that are being given are most likely referring to what's to be done throughout the entire history of the world. And so we know that Satan isn't bound until the millennium. And so it's probably referring to that time period. It says, make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudael. Dudael is a Hebrew name meaning cauldron of God. Some might see it as like a valley, or it could be a metaphorical reference to the cauldron being the place where things are boiled or burned. And so it could be a reference to that. But what I found really interesting is actually related to Revelation chapter 9, verse 14. It says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Now, what's so interesting about this is that if you look in the Joseph Smith translation, it changes the phrase "in the great river Euphrates" to "in the bottomless pit." And so what the book of Revelation is saying is that there's these angels which are bound in the bottomless pit, and they are to be loosed for a season to slay the third part of man. So it says opening in the desert. It's like a bottomless pit where where Satan is cast into, and those angels which have corrupted the earth. Again, these are referring to the priesthood holders who abandoned their position. And it says on the great day of judgment is to be cast into the fire. Then the Lord says, heal the earth which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that I may revive it, and that all the children of men shall not perish in consequence of every secret by which the watchers have disclosed and have taught their offspring. Now, these again, this is referring to those priesthood holders and the Watchers, which were the Watchers, which have disclosed secret things that were meant to be held back from mankind. Raphael is told to heal the earth and to proclaim the healing of the earth, that the Lord may revive it. And so again, I don't see these things as being done at necessarily at that time. This is, it could be both. But the main thing is, I think these are commands being given over the whole duration of the earth, and that just like before the flood, there was all this wickedness and sin, and the earth became broken and filled with drought and violence and a whole bunch of hardship because of the wickedness. The judgment of the flood, and then afterwards the earth was healed of that for a season, until of course wickedness quickly returned. But then we know that for the millennium the earth will be healed, and of all the things done to it by the wickedness that is on the earth right now. And this secret combination that is in the earth, the Watchers of those days formed a secret combination. The Watchers of our day, which are those who are part of the secret combination in our day, they are also disclosing the secrets that should not be disclosed of technology, and they are causing the earth to become corrupt and distorted. And it says, all the earth has been corrupted by the teaching of the work of Azazel. To him, therefore, ascribe the whole sin. So, because of Azazel, or Satan, working wickedness in the earth, the whole earth was corrupted by those teachings. Therefore, Satan is the originator of sin. But that doesn't mean that the people who do it are not responsible, because we're all responsible for our own actions. But it's that Satan is the originator of that knowledge that led to it. Then it says, to Gabriel also the Lord said, go to the biters, to the reprobates, to the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the offspring of the Watchers from among men. Bring them forth and send them one against another. Let them be destroyed in the battle, for length of days shall not be theirs. They shall all entreat thee, but their fathers shall not obtain their wishes respecting them. For they shall hope for eternal life, and that they may live each of them 500 years. So this is the Lord's instruction to Gabriel. It says, go to the biters. Biters means one who cheats or defrauds others. And it says, to the reprobates, that word means abandoned in sin or lost to virtue or grace. It says, to the children of fornication, which is sexual immorality. It says, and Gabriel is told to destroy the children of fornication and the offspring of the Watchers from among men. And so the Lord causes societies to be destroyed because of wickedness. And one of the greatest of wickedness is sexual immorality. And so all these children born into that system, all they can do is continue that system because they don't know otherwise, because their parents were wicked and they're born into wickedness. And so when it gets to that point where there's no point in sending children into a society anymore, that's when the Lord causes it to be destroyed. It also talks about the offspring of the Watchers, which were the giants. He tells them to bring them forth and send them one against another. Let them be destroyed in the battle, for length of days shall not be theirs. And so the Gabriel is to cause the giants to start fighting amongst themselves and to destroy themselves. And I think this is very not symbolic of things that are going to happen in our day, because we've got to remember Enoch himself says in this book that the things that he's writing are for the people who are going to be here in the last days, at the time of the removal of the wicked. And so what we see here is that the Lord is going to cause wars to come upon to destroy the wicked. And so in our day, who are the children of fornication? Well, again, America and the Western world is filled with sexual immorality. And so they're the children of fornication. And then the offspring of the Watchers, these secret combinations have been in existence for hundreds of years, and their children are brought up into it. Those involved with the secret combination, it talks about them being destroyed in the battle. And so what we can see here is that these people, they can't they come up with these prideful ideas, and then it turns out that they can't control it. They don't have that ability, and whatever it is they try to cause eventually comes back on them, and it may be in the wake of horrible suffering and destruction, but it always comes back upon them. We remember from the Book of Revelation that it talks about that that they shall hate the whore and make war against her. And so I can see a similarity in that. I'm trying to see if I can bring that up. Okay. In Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled." And so, see, that also sounds very similar. He's going to cause the people that they had a league with shall turn upon them in war. And then it says that the watchers will plead for their giant children and for themselves, wanting to live 500 years. The Lord gives an answer to that. Oh, he says that they want eternal life, but they can't have it because they're not keeping the commandments of God. But they shall live to be about 500 years and then be destroyed. Probably referring to the flood. And it says, to Michael, likewise, the Lord said, go and announce his crime to Samyaza and to the others who are with him, who have united themselves with women, that they might be polluted with all their uncleanness. And when all their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them for 70 generations underneath the rocks of the earth, till the day of judgment and of consummation, until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever, be completed. Then shall they be taken away into the lowest depths of the fire in torments, and in prison shall they be shut up forever. So those wicked priesthood holders, the watchers, their punishment is to watch their children destroy themselves, and then they will be taken and bound. It says 70 generations. The term 70 generations most likely just means a lot of generations. So it's not literally 70 generations, but they're going to be bound until the day of judgment and of consummation. Consummation is referring to the end of the world. Until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever, be completed. And so they're going to be bound until the time of the judgment. And there's no reason to think that is fake, because we know that that's true. That the wicked will be bound until they've completed their torments. But the sons of perdition go away into eternal torment. And that's what it sounds like here, that these priesthood holders who did all this wickedness, they shall be put into the fire and torments forever, referring to outer darkness. Unless, of course, it's just referring to, because in Doctrine and Covenants section 20, it says that eternal torment doesn't mean forever. It just means that it's a godly torment or punishment or whatever it says. But it really sounds like it's not so much what they did in the taking of wives. It was in revealing secret knowledge, which brought a lot of the chaos into the world. And they in order to join with them, they would have had to have denied the Holy Ghost, which we know that is the one unforgivable sin. And it says, and at the time when they will burn and die, those who collaborated with them shall be bound together with them from henceforth unto the end of many generations. And so They'll be destroyed and cast into hellfire, and all those who collaborated with them will gain the same fate. Now, the collaboration, I don't think it's necessarily talking about the other priesthood holders who were with Semyaza. I think it's referring to all those who collaborate with Satan in order to do wickedness in the earth. And it says, destroy all souls addicted to pleasure and the offspring of the watchers, for they have tyrannized over mankind. Let every oppressor perish from the face of the earth. Let every work be destroyed. Let every evil work be destroyed. So this has an important message for us. It says, destroy all souls addicted to pleasure. So in this world, there's lots of pleasures, and that can be interpreted in so many different ways. But when we indulge in the things of the earth, contrary to the will of God, and we become addicted to it, it's cause for the Lord's judgment to come. Pleasure is extremely hard to overcome, because we like the feelings that our body gives us when we do things that are wrong, but give us like temporary pleasure. The offspring of the watchers will also be destroyed, because it says, for they have tyrannized over mankind. Let every oppressor perish from the face of the earth. Let every evil work be destroyed. And that's a very important message for us, because in the last days we're going to see tyranny like we've never ever seen before in the earth, and the Lord wants us to know that every one of those oppressors shall be destroyed at the right time. And I like the fact that that this is being told to Michael, who is the one that rescues the saints in the last days from being destroyed completely. And Michael has always been the protector of Israel, it is said. And again, I talked a lot about whether the angels were real or not. And again, I know they're real, but used in this context, I can't say they're real. But we also have to consider the fact that it's also timeless, and so maybe it could be. This could have really been said, and this is going on before things took place, because all time is present with the Lord. But regardless, there's a lot of information that's directed towards us. And it says, and the plant of righteousness will appear, and he shall plant eternal truth and joy. And then all the saints will escape and become the living ones until they have begotten thousands of children, and all the days of their youth and the years of their rest shall be completed in peace. So the plant of righteousness is referring to Jesus Christ. It says, and he shall plant eternal truth and joy. And that was done through his work. And then after that, it says the saints will escape, probably escape the their complete destruction by the wicked. It says, and become the living ones until they have begotten thousands of children, and all the days of their youth and the years of their rest shall be completed in peace. And so the saints that escape what is going on, they will become extremely blessed and fill the earth with children. It says, in those days shall all the earth be worked in righteousness. She shall be wholly planted with trees and filled with blessing. Every desirable tree shall be planted upon her. They shall plant vines, and the vine which shall be planted upon her shall yield fruit to abundance. Every seed that shall be sown in her shall produce for 1 measure 1,000, and 1 measure of olive shall produce 10 measures of presses of oil. So there's going to be a whole bunch of blessing in the earth, and though there's not going to be any more famine and or scarcity of food. And it says, and purify thou the earth from all oppression, from all injustice, from all sin, from all ungodliness, and from all pollution which is committed upon her. Remove them from the earth. And so Michael's role is to see that all of these things, all the oppression and sin and injustice and ungodliness, and it says pollution, no doubt spiritual pollution is meant, which is being committed upon the earth. These to cause these to be removed from the earth. And then it says, and all the children of men shall become righteous, and all nations shall worship and bless me. And they will all prostrate themselves to me. And the whole earth shall be cleansed from all corruption, and from all sin, and from all plague, and from all suffering. And I will never again send these upon her from generation to generation forever. So, eventually all the children of men are going to become righteous, and all nations shall worship and bless the Lord, and worship Him, and the whole earth will be cleansed from all corruption and sin, and there shall be no more plagues or suffering, and that these things shall never again be sent upon the earth once we make it to that time. And that's why it's so important that we strive to live righteous, so that we can not only help to cause those things to come to pass, but also to be worthy to receive those things. That is the end of chapter 10. Chapter 11 is very short, only 2 verses. It says, and in those days I will open the storerooms of blessing which are in the heavens, that I may send them down upon the earth and upon all the works and labor of the children of man. Peace and truth shall associate with the children of men all the days of the world, in every generation of it. And so again, the Lord is saying that He's going to pour all these blessings. And you know what? We ourselves could receive all those blessings, but we're not worthy of it right now. We're too embedded in Babylon right now. We don't look to God to the way we should do things for a lot of things. Some things we do, but not in all things. And in the things that we don't look to God for, then we look to Babylon for. And we can't receive the fullness of the Lord's blessings unless we keep the fullness of His ways. But the point of this is that the Lord is telling us that no matter the wickedness that we will face in the last days, it's going to come to an end, and then once it comes to an end, it's never going to return, and it's and there's just going to be so much blessing that you can't understand it. And so that's the end of chapter 11, and we're going to stop here. And I hope that you've enjoyed this discussion. I'll leave this with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.